lovely to be here. So today I'm going to be talking about love, and I don't think it's far-fetched given the introduction you just heard. I'm a marriage coach, and we're going to be looking at love and how we have come to define it. Is it love, giving, give and take, or just taking? So how do we define love? What's love? Sometimes we define love as a feeling, that feeling that you have never felt before, when you meet the person that you have never met before. And I'm sure young people can relate. Butterflies in your tummy, eggs in the clouds, and you're thinking, oh my God, this has to be the thing. But the thing is, while that feeling is sweet, it can be great. I mean, when I met my husband, it was something of that sort, eventually. While it can be great, feelings are very fluid. And it begs the question, who do I really love? When I feel that feeling, myself or the object of my affection? And this is what Abraham Twaski tries to explain in the fish story. Young man, why are you eating that fish? Oh, I love the fish. Ah, I see. You love the fish. And that's why you went to the ocean. Caught the fish, killed it, boiled it, and now you are eating it. Who do you really love? You definitely love yourself. So when a person ticks all my boxes, meets all my conditions and standards, who do I really love? Myself or the person? I see you laughing. The answer is obvious, right? Of course I love me. They meet the criteria, and I gave myself the gift of a partner. Do you see? So that person becomes a vehicle in achieving my needs, in meeting my emotional or physical needs. So the problem is not that fish love is not great, it's that when it comes to it, it cannot really satisfy. It cannot nourish you and fully accept you when you're not meeting the standards. So the point is, no matter how wonderful this fish love is, it will actually be tested and then be revealed. It's not a big deal. I have couples come to me every day, and then when they are experiencing, when the honeymoon is over, and they're experiencing conflicts, all of a sudden, I married the wrong person. No, you didn't. Your fish love is evolving. It's coming into a place where it's now been tested, about to be revealed, and you're being given a chance to upgrade. So no matter how similar a couple is, or how wonderful and in sync they are, there will be one conflict, at least one conflict, one difference capable of draining the fish love if they don't upgrade. Do you see what I mean? We also define love by behavior. What is the behavior associated with the feeling that I was feeling? What the behavior represents it and fully describes it. Kissing, hugging, sex, cuddling, anything that depicts devotion and attention, then we are convinced that we are in love. But the funny thing about this behavior is that it's very subjective and limited. Let's say your love language is words of affirmation, and then the love language of your partner is both. How do we reconcile that? Because most people will love you the way they want to be loved. Does that mean they're wrong for you? But what happens in our relationship? We start to collide. We fight because it doesn't seem as if you're getting what you want from this person. But this can easily be resolved if we sit and communicate and learn and grow and be also willing to teach. But unfortunately, of course, because we came in with fish love, this person, because of the euphoria, figured me out and realized that, oh, she loves words of affirmation. And then, of course, we're all playing a game. We're recruiting. When you're at an interview and they ask you, can you work under pressure? What do you say? Oh, I work well under pressure, If I press me down, I will never be flat. But then, of course, when the pressure starts, what do we say? This is a toxic environment. I once worked in a place where I just could not believe it. And at my interview, I aced it. I'm like, how bad can it be? It got so bad, the people to eat like this. They're always on the move. I'm always there till late at night. I'm wondering, you can't even enter another person's office. The person is looking at you, don't you have a job? Because he's so busy. He cannot even attend to you. He cannot even say hello to you on the corridor. But I could work under pressure, right? It proved otherwise. So this behavior is very limiting, right? And it's subjective. Let me tell you a story. When I first got married to my husband, I, like most brides, and of course most things that you've seen, please don't judge me. Most things that you've seen, they fall in the movie. When the young man was going to work, I would lie in bed pretending to be asleep because I thought or I wanted him to come and say goodbye to me with a kiss. You know that movie where the Prince Charming will not leave without telling the bride how miserable his day would be because she's not in it. That's what I wanted. Guess what? My husband's departure was announced by the slamming of the door. And of course, what came after? Oh my God, how did I get here? I married the wrong person. You're all romantic. You're not nice. You're mean. Now, this behavior drives up things like defensiveness, disconnection, finger pointing. And that's what we had. A good share of it, if I must say. Of course, when he came back from work, I'm also seated in the corner, not welcoming him at the door. I'm seated in the corner with that judgmental look on my face because I know he's not even going to hug me welcome. I already know. And of course, with that look, with the people already knowing that they're being judged, they don't want to say hello to you. This is familiar. They walk away thinking, well, I'm not going to kill myself for you. And this went on for a while until it occurred to me that if I'm actually romantic, I know what romance should look like, right? Who should be doing it? Me. Do you see, if I love this man, isn't there a way to give to him just as he was getting ready for work? But you know the funny thing, it didn't even matter that we were a one-income family at the time, knowing that I wasn't working. And this man was diligently going to work every day to make an income so that we would both spend. And I kept saying to myself, he must not love me. Why? Because he wasn't meeting my standards for romance. So the problem is not that romance is not good. It's that once we wrap it up in this idea that the other person is lacking because they don't meet the standards, then that's where the issue is. If I have a need and I can own it, then I can go meet the person from where they are to take them to where I want them to be. But that's not what we do. Do you see? Now, when we first meet a person and we're newly fascinated with them, right, we're in a place where we forget about reciprocity. We want to give freely. You're not thinking, and you think that you're not thinking because you are falling in love. So we blame the falling for the act of generosity. We feel joy, but then we think that the other person is responsible for the joy that we feel. But what's actually happening to you is that you are getting reconnected with yourself when we take survival off the table. How many of you now will put your phone on this table and walk away for 1 hour and then you have peace of mind? No. You know how the world is. It's a jungle out there. So you're not going to leave your belongings because there is the likelihood that it will be stolen. But guess what? That's not our true nature. That's not our true nature. And the problem keeps expounding because one of us would just not come into a place where we're being reconciled with ourselves. And then we are raising our children in that same mode where they're constantly fighting. So this phase where we forget about reciprocity, where we're giving, where if something needed to be done or fixed, nobody's thinking about, oh, who does it? I'm counting the scores now. You do it because you know it would make your partner happy, right? And their happiness will make you happy. But what happens? Unfortunately, right, this moment of bliss is rooted in the idea that you found the one, whereby you now have the safety and ownership to assume that this person will do the same for you. They've convinced you one way or the other when you were ticking the boxes, that they will do the same for you. And so you enter the relationship because you think you found the one. Now, unfortunately, when the one no longer meets your standard or doesn't give you what you want and expect, the hurt, the disappointment move you to stop giving. Now, when you stop giving, you are now in that complaining mode like I was, right? Now, what you will be trying to do is to change them, because that's where your hope lies. There's a running joke that men and women get married, and then the woman is thinking, I'm going to change him. And the man is thinking, I hope she never changes. Have you heard it before? Now, unfortunately, they are shocked because the exact opposite happens. Do you see? So, my point is that if you get in this place, right, and there's hurt and there's disappointment, it's difficult not to point fingers. The moment you start to ask for change, because change is not a prerequisite to love, your partner interprets the request for change as a lack of acceptance. Now, acceptance is a fundamental human need. And so when I interpret your request for change as a lack of acceptance, you don't accept me as I am, what am I going to be doing? Telling you to change. Instead of trying to change you, if I begin to seek to know you, then I can actually understand about why you do the things that you do. And knowing that actually people's behavior towards you is actually more revealing of who they are than you. It's actually liberating. It forces you to focus on you. Do you see what I mean? And so when you realize that actually getting to know people actually is understanding more, you will put your energy not in judging, but actually figuring out why is this person like this? And people have stories. They have a place they're coming from. The black man who almost ran into me this morning could have thought it's his wife before coming out.